Alright folks, welcome back to the channel and to a new Hickory Hacker course vlog. This week I'm playing modern Hickory golf at Keney Park Golf Course in Windsor, Connecticut. Keney Park straddles Windsor and Hartford, Connecticut, and it dates back to 1927, so it's got a lot of cool history and also a lot of interesting architectural features that I'll show you as the round gets going. The first 9 holes here were designed in 1927 by Devereaux Emmett, and Emmett got his start with C.B. McDonald working on national golf links. He had a naturalist approach to design that we'll talk about over the course of this round, and I'll also touch on the expansion and restoration work that's happened over the years here at Keney Park. Here's what's in the bag, sponsored by Stewart and Jacoby, using my all-authentic set today, and a new addition to the bag that I'm excited to show you, and my ball is a Callaway Super Soft. Here's a scorecard for Keney Park. We're playing from the whites today at 5,600, par 70. Here's number 1, Valley, par 4, 297 yards. Nice early spring day today.
Nice. Wow.
A little crisp out, so I was wearing a sweater, but pretty much perfect weather for golf. So right away, you see here the natural approach to design that Emmett employed on his golf courses. He liked a lot of rolling hills. Basically, he would just lay his golf course on top of the existing terrain. So that often created a lot of blind shots and depth perception issues. There are several holes here that I'll point out where you just really can't judge very well how far away you are from the flag because there are valleys or gullies in between you and the hole. That's a frustrating start, though. I should have hit that putt. So, moving on to 2, cross country, par 5, 480 yards. Using the Kinnell splice-neck off the tee. I hit a good shot on the first, but that happened to me on the second. And that pops up every once in a while. It's the same kind of miss. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong there, but it's frustrating nonetheless. So here's a new club in my bag. That's a Tom Stewart driving iron. It's 19 degrees. I'm using it again here on my 4th shot. I lost, basically had to take an unplayable lie on the shot that went into the leaves there, so already racking up the strokes early. Here's the Kinnell splice-neck from the fairway. And that looks like a bad shot, but there's actually quite a bit of fairway over there on the right side. So that's where I ended up using the Stewart driving iron once again. This is a very cool club. It's been hard for me to find a low-lofted driving iron like this. This is 19 degrees in D1, so it's right in my wheelhouse. And so far it's been working for me pretty well. Here's a short one that drops for me. All right, number 3 is called Pitt, par 3, 121 yards. Pretty good strike there with the Tom Morris mashie. That voice you hear, and now the person you see behind the flag is Chris Peterson. We were playing our second round together, and I believe this was his second round with Hickory's. So he's still getting acquainted with his set. Oh, that was almost a birdie for him. Here's another short one for me. And that's super aggravating. That's 2 putts now I should have hit for pars. All right, moving on to 4. Klondike, 349 yards. Some more of that terrain that I talked about on number 1. This one's off to the right, but there's room over there. So here I'm using the Tom Stewart J iron, one of my favorite clubs in the bag. And I've got some tree roots right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure I can... Nope, I can't clear those tree roots. That was very unfortunate. I have not broken a club on the course until this point. Let's take a closer look. So yeah, basically that tree root that I hit, I thought I had enough room to get past it, but I actually hit down on the ball properly. Here's where the ball ended up. Fortunately in the fairway. But yeah, look for a Fix It Friday in the near future featuring the repair of that club. If you need any reminder after watching that, don't hit your hickories around tree roots, especially ones that you can see. It's just not a good idea. And, for me, it makes extra content, but for you, it's just going to be a headache and not worth it. That was the original shaft as far as I know, too. So definitely a stupid thing for me to do there. I suppose if I'd hit a great shot there, I wouldn't have thought twice about doing that again. But so I guess it's a good thing that it happened so that I don't do it again. Meanwhile, back to the action. There's a putt for double bogey to move us to 5. It's called long, par 4, 373 yards. So I haven't mentioned how I'm keeping score these days. You notice that I've got myself at +2, but there's a net next to that. So basically what I'm doing is figuring out my course handicap before I play these rounds and determining, my net score as I go, which gives me a pretty good idea of how I'm doing in relation to my handicap. So if I'm even after the end of a round, then I didn't really improve my handicap, but I also didn't make it worse. So I think that's going to be a better judge for me when I'm playing these rounds and scoring them to see how I'm improving, as opposed to just keeping track of gross score, which I will do as well, and you'll see that on the scorecard. But I'm mostly just interested right now in figuring out if I'm actually improving, and I think keeping track of my net score primarily is going to do that. Plus, it's going to look better on the score on these score graphics. Here's another double bogey attempt for me. That putt was uphill, and I should have hit that a little harder. All right, number 6, short, par 3, 115 yards. This is one of my favorite holes on the course. You see a lot of trees here, and obviously they're not in bloom right now, but when there's leaves on these trees, it's a really pretty course, and especially in the fall when the leaves are changing color. That was a great shot there by Chris, though he did notice that his iron was loose. Most of Chris's clubs, I think, probably need to be reset, and that's a common issue for folks when they just find clubs. They haven't broken on Chris at all, so he's been playing them, but he could tell there's a little bit of a wobbliness to the strikes even when he hits a good shot. This is my MacGregor Popular Mashie niblick with the flange. Really like that club for those kinds of shots. And of course, I love my Stewart RTJ putter. Here's a nice putt there with it. All right, number 7, par 4. So I mentioned there's some restoration work that's happened over the years here. Matthew Dusenberry restored this course in 2015, and he added a lot of cool little features that are throwbacks to the golden age of architecture. So they include names of holes like this one, the Biarritz. There's also on the next hole, you'll see a familiar feature of classic golf course architecture. And I just really appreciate what he's done with the restoration here, using what holes existed from Emmett's original 9-hole design, and then Robert Jack Ross, who is a local Hartford, Connecticut, I'm not sure what you'd call him, maybe city planner, something of that sort, but he designed the back nine here in the early 30s. So there was a lot of good bones for Dusenberry to work with. And this course kind of exists now as a throwback to Golden Age design. And there in this photo of the overhead on number 8, you see the church pew bunkers near the green. Just another one of these cool features that Dusenberry put on the course to kind of be a throwback or an homage to the Golden Age of golf course design. Back to the action here. Now that I don't have the J iron, my club that I use for 150, 160 yards is no longer in play. So I'm using the 19-degree driving iron, the Stewart driving iron, for pretty much all of the longer shots shots longer than 145, 150 yards. That actually has worked out okay for me since. I've repaired the J iron, but I haven't put it back into my bag because I'm actually pretty used to just using the Kinnell splice-neck off the tee, the Stewart driving iron for long approaches, and then the mashie for anything 150 yards in. I'll use the MacGregor mashie niblick and my Hagen Iron Man sand wedge in those situations where they're appropriate. But yeah, I've got a really minimal set right now, and I'm not sure I'm going to add the J iron back in. All right, moving on to number 9, road, par 4, 380 yards. This one obviously named for the road on the right side of the hole, but also for the formidable bunker near the green that brings to mind the road hole bunker at St. Andrews. I like to flirt with that road, though, off the tee. Every time I've played here, I'm always on the right side. The magnet over there for my ball. So here I'm 205 yards out, but I got these branches to contend with, so I'm trying to keep this driving iron shot low. And that worked out pretty well, got me back into the fairway. There's the beautiful clubhouse just off the green. It's a little too close for comfort, in my opinion. It often comes into play on shots where the pin is toward the back of the green. And this is a tricky hole, no matter where the pin is. I'm trying to wrap up for a bogey. Wrap up the front nine. And I do. So, gross score on the front, 49. That's not bad. Net 37, so 2 over par. Here's the scorecard for the back. And number 10 is a par 5. Sheep Meadow, 475 yards. Feeling pretty comfortable with the Kinnell splice-neck today. And was smart not to bounce around between this and the MacGregor Fancy Face. Just figured I'd stick with one club today, and it's been working out for me so far. It would be nice to be able to hit that splice-neck off the deck, but I'm not consistent with it enough yet, so I'm sticking with the driving iron, even though I know I'm going to be, well short. Here I'm about 120 yards out using the Tom Morris mashie. Another somewhat blind shot, but it's to an elevated green, so you can see the flag from there. Still, you got to put a little bit more on your shot than you realize, so I came up short. And here I'm using the mashie to chip up. That was pretty good, though. And I got a putt for par here. This has been a knee-knocking distance for me today, but that one went down. Pretty good start on the back nine. Number 11 is Dell, par 3, 184 yards.
It's well struck.
Another real nice swing there from Chris. And this also is another reason why I love this club, this new Stewart driving iron. This is a great club for me on par 3s, longer par 3s. This one, at 185, plays more like 160 downhill. So this was pretty much the exact club I needed for that. Put me in a real nice spot here for birdie. And that, you don't want to leave those short, but I'm pretty satisfied with that. And here's another bonehead mistake. Don't do that, folks. Take your time, set up, and just hit the short putt. Aggravating. All right, number 12, Soldiers Field. Named after the literal soldier cemetery that's on the right side there. It's out of bounds, obviously. So I made sure to stay to the left. It's a short hole here, so 95 yards out, using the mashie on my approach. I was pretty happy with that. Just coming off the back of the green here. You got to be careful because this green slopes severely from the middle to the front, kind of a false front. This was a dicey putt for me here. And I was real happy to hit that for par. All right, number 13, Peninsula, par 3, 144 yards. This is another really picturesque hole, especially when the trees are in bloom and the grass is green. And I got all of that driving iron on that shot there. Ended up hitting that over the green behind this tree. And I just got a little unlucky here. Maybe the technique wasn't great either, but these chips that I was just trying to get it up on the green so it could roll down because the green goes from back to front. And I just wasn't hitting any of these hard enough to get through that little bit of rough. So I kind of made a mess of this hole. Decent lag putt there. got me close for a 6 that I was able to hit. Number 14, Sentinels, par 5, 467 yards. Right before this hole, actually I should say right before the par 3, I had gotten myself back to even. So I'm back to +2 net. Trying to work that down to even again. I got lucky on that tee shot. It was actually right on the side of the woods there, so I was able to find it and punch it back out. Not the best contact there, but it moved the ball down. So I got 55 yards here with the mashie. And that just came up short, but not too bad. I don't mind coming up short if I get an opportunity to do this shot, because I like using my mashie for these. I can usually get it pretty close. And Chris shows me how I should be hitting all my short putts. That was a fancy little move there. But fortunately, that one dropped for me. Number 15, Camel's Back, par 4, 380 yards. This is probably the toughest hole on the course for me. You've got a lot of room off the tee. And I hit a nice shot here. That's about as well as I can hit the splice-neck. The tricky thing for me is I don't really have a comfortable club for this distance. It's about 185 yards. It's uphill, and you got to get across this creek. So I hit that fat to start, and then it just got swallowed up by the creek. So hitting my fourth shot here, uphill to the green using my mashie. You see I'm right at the 100-yard marker, but that probably plays more like 115, 120 yards because of the steep uphill climb to the green. Fortunately, that one held up on the back, and then the wind picked up. I hate it when that happens. But I was able to collect myself and drill another short putt. Number 16, Meadowbrook, par 4, 349 yards. I like this hole too. This sets up nice to my eye, even though it's kind of a narrow shoot here off the tee. Got plenty of room on the right side. That's where I'm headed. This tree gets into play, but I've, for the last few times I've played this hole, I haven't had too much trouble with that tree. And I tried to go left of that, but ended up coming over the top a bit with the driving iron, so it sent me off to the right side. But I got a clear shot at the green from here and used the mashie to do this. Not bad. A little tentative on that putt, but tap in for bogey I'll take any day for a net par. Number 17, Principal's Nose, par 4, 349 yards. As the name suggests, there is a Principal's Nose bunker in front of the green on this hole.
Nice shot.
This is, in my opinion, kind of an homage to number 17 at Yale Golf Course, which also features the Principal's Nose bunker, and may have also been Duesenberry's nod to St. Andrews in general. Find myself on this right side quite a bit here. Kind of a blind shot. Pretty good contact there, though, with the driving iron. And here you see the Principal's Nose on the right side. It's a formidable feature and makes for some really pretty pictures. Would have liked to get a little closer on that chip, but I got a shot here for par. It was good to see me settle down with these short putts after missing so many short ones early. All right, number 18 ends on a par 3 punch bowl. The green is a punch bowl, so really all you got to do is get it close. You don't want to do that though. Just hit that way too fat. I think that was in my head. I was basically thinking I'm right at the limit of what I can hit the mashie, and just ended up trying to overswing, or I ended up overswinging and trying to hit it too hard. Fortunately, I was able to get this ball up into the punch bowl. Here's Chris's tap in to wrap up his round. But that second shot there ended up rolling into the punch bowl, which was a nice break for me. Had a legit shot at par to close things out, but a tap in for bogey, again, I'll take that any day. Well, that'll wrap things up here at Keney Park Golf Course. Hope you enjoyed this round. Thanks so much for watching. I ended up with a 94 gross and a 71 net. This is actually the best round I've shown you on the channel, so I'm pretty excited about the progress I'm making with the single plane swing so far early in the season, and excited for things to come. I'll be back next week with another video. In the meantime, here are a couple from the archive for you to check out. And if you liked what you saw, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. Thanks again, folks. See you next time.